I would like to welcome my guest, as usual, here in the studio. I would like to welcome Mr. Mirza Naeem. Mirza, how are you?
I'm doing great, glad to be here.
What have you got for us today?
Well, we're going to cover the trends that are going to change the entire world that we live in. As we know, life is changing and we have some visibility what's coming our way.
Ah, so you are becoming a futuristic guy?
Hopefully, to benefit.
Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome again. Let us move directly to Mr. Naeem, and he will tell us more about this futuristic vision of the new technology affecting our life. Mr. Naeem, the floor is yours.
So there are multiple trends that are really reshaping our lives, and we're going to talk about only the top five. Not to mention that there are only five, but there are multiple others. So one that we keep on hearing a lot about AI and the machine learning. And then I wanted to put that into perspective in terms of how does that really help us in our real life? So I'll try to give some examples, pragmatic examples, how do we do that and how it is applied. So one of the best case scenario, most used scenarios would be in the autonomous systems where there are three components. Without getting into too many details of AI, then comes the machine learning, and then there's a layer below that which is deep learning.
Okay.
That's where the algorithms actually communicate. One of the best application of AI would be in healthcare diagnostics. So here you have multiple X-rays to prevent the diagnostics of the X-rays.
To improve the diagnosis.
Yeah, to improve it and also be able to detect it. Early detection is one of the key areas, and the processing of that, I mean today, or not today, but some time ago what used to happen is you would take your X-ray to the doctor and they would put that film onto this white light.
Yes.
And they will
You
see.
remind me of those old days. Yes.
Right. Those days are actually gone, and I'm glad that because doctors can actually see the pattern using the AI and the fast processing of that, and the machines actually do that, and they can predict that somebody's at the risk of having some sort of disease, and they can prevent that. So that's a good thing. So that's how AI helps. And in terms of customer service, we talk about, let's say when you call a bank or a telecom or any service, government is the biggest service provider.
Of the chatbots?
Of the chatbots and the RPAs, the robotic process automation. Those are the trivial tasks that keep on repeating, and they can be automated. That's where AI and machine learning helps.
They are important tasks, by the way, not only trivial, because they are repeated. Many people, the first encounter is these chatbots.
Absolutely.
So they have to be smart enough to reply effectively,
right,
so that people don't put off, you see.
Correct. And the way they work is, so chatbots are trained to answer the frequently asked questions. What's my bank balance? What's my overdue payment, due payment, things like that. But if it's complicated, then these chatbots are very smart to be able to detect the language of the user and say if person is getting frustrated, they can say, well, Mr. So-and-so, please hold on while I transfer the call to my senior.
Okay.
Now, the key thing is when they say I'm transferring the call to my senior, recognize that that's the first time you're going to be talking to a human.
Exactly.
So before that, you were talking to a machine, and they're so advanced that they can now one cannot tell that this is a chatbot.
Because they have a database, they have answered all the questions, possible questions. As
Correct.
A matter of fact. So if they have answered all the possible questions, the first-time caller, or the caller in this case, then I think, as you mentioned, unless there is an odd question,
correct.
this chatbot doesn't know how to answer.
Precisely. Precisely. So the rule of thumb is maybe 70-80% of the questions could be answered by chatbot, and then only 10 or 20% could be answered by a human. Now imagine the cost savings that comes in, because all of a sudden you don't need to have army of people to answer your phone calls.
Exactly.
Now, comes with that is certainly some of the challenges, the ethical challenges, the data privacy issues, and the regulatory compliance, which the regulator is doing a great job in making sure that accidents will happen. We have been driving cars, but we still have accidents. We can minimize them, but they will happen. So I wanted to talk about that, and let's go to the next biggest trend that I feel that is going to reshape our lives are the robots. Robots we need to coexist with robots. Now, there's nothing to be scared about robots. We have had robots many times here in this show, and they're not scary. They're very
friendly.
They're friendly, and then they do exactly what we teach them.
Exactly.
And at a funny
They learn.
They learn. So some of the applications of these robots could be in the industrial automation, where we all have seen the robotic arms moving around and building cars and things of that nature. Then there are service robots. So, for example, there could be applied in the hospitality industry, the telecom retail, the banking retail, where they're welcome and then they can redirect the traffic of people and again mostly answer the questions what they need.
Exactly.
Agricultural robotics is agricultural tech is one of the key areas when we look at the speed and the accuracy and just working 24/7. That also produces quite a lot of benefits for the farmers.
Yes.
The challenges that will come into place, yes, some of the repeat jobs will be displaced, but then key thing is to really learn and then go over to learn new skills.
Well, there is a threat for this AI on some jobs, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then automation has been going on since invention of wheel. So, it's nothing to be scared about. We just need to always learn. And that's, I read it somewhere, it said the successful people of the future will be the ones who will be willing to unlearn what they know and relearn new things. That's a very powerful thing that I try to
unlearn. How can you unlearn? You see, you have already learned.
That's the most complex things, really. It's to unlearn something, because we as humans, we say, well, that's how I always did things. But then unlearn that and then relearn new things, we need to be ready for.
Well, this is a critical issue. You see, this is something which you have to. And then we let us go.
Right. The virtual realities, the extended reality, these are the use cases of those are very useful within the education and training sectors, entertainment and gaming. And then one of the key things within the education is the healthcare. So when somebody needs to practice, they can put on the goggles and then practice it as much as we can. And we can change the scenarios at a click of a button. So let's say if you want to go from Caribbean to India, for example, you just click a different scenario and then you have a whole new ecosystem that you can operate on.
Although also on entertainment and the gaming, I think it is very important. This virtual reality, augmented reality.
100%, 100%.
Many people are attached to it with these glasses. They can see something different with the 3D animations.
Absolutely. It's just a whole new different way of learning things, and then you can actually interact and get the feel of it. Of course, comes along with the challenges of the hardware accessibility, the content that needs to be created. So what do you actually see when you wear the glasses? And that needs to be quality content and educational. But these are some of the technologies that I think will become very, very normal for us to see in everyday life. Let's go to the next one.
Yes.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing, this is the most critical issue now. This is the most advanced.
Right, it is definitely one of the things. And if you can just click next, there is a little video that's going to show on the right bottom. You will see, we all have seen this maze. Dr. Just click one time. No, we went too far.
No, it isn't here. It's not working here.
Right. Okay, so anyway, I'll describe. So on the bottom right, the green box where you have two, we all have played this maze where your objective is to take the ball from one location entry and then take it out to the exit one. So that's how exactly. So this is how a normal computer works. So your computer and my computer works this way. It's a one task at a time, and it's going to go through all these combinations and permutations until it actually finds the exit. Now let's look at what is the difference between quantum computing. Same process, but the balls are going from all different locations and it goes out in one scenario. So what that means is it is going to run multiple things all at the same time. Now keep that in mind. Now here in historical computing, we are familiar with zeros and ones. So everything that we do in today's computer is all binary.
Exactly.
What quantum does, it allows you to make a decision between 0 and 1. So
a new status.
A new status, and that could be very different at any time. Because just like these paths because one traditional computer took only one path and the quantum computer could multiple
And
paths.
parallel.
But exactly. So that increases the speed of it. And so some of the applications of quantum computing could be in the drug discovery, for example, where you...
The treatment.
In the treatment, and actually even treatment is secondary, but also even identifying a drug.
Identifying.
Like, for example, Food and Drug Administration takes about good 15 to 20 years of testing before they can release a drug.
Really?
It's very, very exhaustive process.
Very serious thing, isn't it?
Exactly, because you don't want to send out a medicine or something that has not been thoroughly tested and you don't know what the side effects are. So with quantum computing, it actually accelerates that process significantly.
From 10 years to 5 years, perhaps.
Even much lesser
Less
than that.
Yes.
So the applications of those could be, again, in various industries, in healthcare, in banking industry. And the interesting thing on the graph that you see on the top right is that Statista is the market research company. If you look at the growth pattern, they're expecting 43% the growth, annual CAGR growth, or the cumulative annual growth rate. 43% is humongous. So we're not ready for it today. It's still being done in the labs of IBM and Google and Microsoft, but I think that trend is going to come and it's going to revolutionize. So that's a trend to keep an eye on.
And then 5G.
5G.
Cloud, smart cities.
We are going to be living in, good thing is Kuwait is 5G ready.
Okay.
So we, and Kuwait and also the whole GCC, which is not many people recognize, okay, well, yeah, this is great technology. How does that benefit me? That's what most people would want to see. I mean, people, us in this room, we understand 5G or the benefits of it, but for main audience, they would want to like, well, what's in it for me? Living in the smart cities is empowering those tiny little small cells is what is being empowered with using the IoT sensors, very tiny sensors, Internet of Things sensors that can actually detect what the traffic is, what the humidity is, what the temperature is. I mean, last sessions we talked about the intelligent transport.
Yes.
So we talked about how
they can communicate with each other and with the pavement, with the street, and with traffic lights. Everything has to be communicating with each other.
Right, and that the interdependent technology on that is the 5G technologies and the speed of it. And that's going to revolutionize our modern day life, actually make it more productive and efficient. Things like...
Indeed, the speed will be much higher and
at the same time, when we're talking about 5G, of course, we cannot have any discussion without the cloud infrastructure because a lot of things are residing on the cloud. And as we talk about 5G, we're already talking about 6G coming our way as well.
6G is coming out. I think this is going to be really revolutionizing all the communications means, you see.
Correct. But I think in my honest opinion, I think we have not maximized the 5G yet.
No, yeah, exactly.
There's still plenty that we can do and we should do before we are ready for 6G. So I think this is all for me today. And
thank you very much, Mr. Naeem. Thanks a lot.
Change the future's direction. From robots that roam to AI's might will break down the tech and set your mind alight. Cybersecurity shield.